Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new edition of Message of Hope. And today we have the pleasure to have Mark Williams with us today. And he's from the originals, from the Three Principles, right from the beginning with Sydney Banks. So yeah, lots of wisdom there. And had the privilege to meet Mark through the Heartfelt Presence. And this is something that we'll put on the details under this video. It's a nice little place where people that are distressed can go, and there will be somebody there almost 24 hours a day to have a chat with. And we're both volunteers on that beautiful site. So I'll put the details under that. So welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Martine. Thank you very much.
And I will ask you the infamous question. And is that how does having this understanding, how does that help you in time of crisis, COVID, whatever events that show up in your life? So does having that understanding, how does that help you?
Well, it makes all the difference. It makes all the difference. I may have been on the island very early, but it wasn't until about 9 or 10 years ago that I actually had my insight, my major insight after a conference. So the difference is incredible. It's just, it gives you peace of mind, of course, and a quieter mind. And there's less concern about the day-to-day living. You're in a state of mind. You have a knowledge that's built right in, that you know, something that you know. It's beyond that. You don't even need to know. You don't even need to keep it in mind. It's you've touched a higher state of mind that makes things so much easier. You don't take things so seriously. You may have momentary reactions on occasion, but you quickly just realize that was, a slip of your consciousness. But you keep coming back to this much healthier state where you're not trying so hard and you're not worrying about things and judging and regretting, particularly regretting, and looking back at the past with any kind of regret or guilt, or you just know it was a bunch of different levels of consciousness that you were living at the time, and that was the best you knew. So it makes all the difference. It just it gives you that patience for your partner or for other people. And
I know that recently you had a health scare. Don't have to go into the detail, but having this understanding probably helped you. Same thing with your wife, Karen, who astute people will remember that we already interviewed a few months back. So how does, and also she had a bit of a health scare this year. So how did that help you go through all those things at the same time?
Same thing, you just go through them without worrying. You're just in a much lighter feeling about it. So you go through whatever you have to. You rectify different things that come up. We're human, and our bodies are apt to get different things and have different things come up. And your mind again is not concentrating on the difficulties or on the fear or the anxiety of it. You're in a much lighter, because you're free. You've freed yourself inside really by touching something, that higher state of mind, that higher dimension where you're touching that spiritual, intelligent energy that's within us, within our consciousness, a deeper consciousness. And once you've done that, you know it's just, you're safe. You know that it's all about everything being intelligent energy. The whole world is intelligent consciousness or pure consciousness. And it's made up of that. And you're just part of it. You realize it when you touch that. And it's beyond me or you or or what you're thinking. You have a choice of the personal thinking that you entertain and give power to, and it's just an option. It's there to help you. It's not there to be frightening you and making you anxious. So I just went through a narrow brush with stage 4 melanoma, for one thing. This was just one of the challenges during this last 2 years. It was quite kind of convenient that because we were all separated and isolated anyway and weren't able to go to the pool or whatever, that it all transpired during these 2 years. But I had this stage 4 plus melanoma, which could have easily metastasized through my body and reappeared, and it could have been for the duration of my life, however long, could have been a real big challenge. And so I knew that whatever happened, I was okay, because I had touched this intelligent energy, and I know that's what you go back to when you die anyway. And then it all goes back to that. And so I wasn't worried one way or another, however it would turn out. And but it turned out fine in the end. They took out a sentinel lymph node up at the top of one of my legs, and they did all these elaborate tests. And fortunately, the site was down on one of my legs, and it came back negative. And then they've done CT scans, and that's come back negative. And so I'm off the hook, basically, except for periodic tests or checks. But that was just an example of, it wouldn't have helped to get all scared and fearful. It would have taken away the quality of life, of living. And it's kind of like, I think maybe it can be compared with living, period. We don't have to get scared of life or be in that state and think it's so serious. Yeah, because it isn't. It's only as serious as we make it with our personal thinking, that way of using the power of thought. And something's been coming to me recently that Elsie mentioned something, that there's beauty in seeing the details of personal thought, in the things that you see and you do, and that the beauty of a life that's seen through the personal thought, or seen through thought. But there's a place where you can be, I'm kind of paraphrasing a little bit, but you can an even greater appreciation for the beauty of the power of thought. Kind of that you don't have to be thinking about something all the time. You can be just enjoying the being, and be in that, the beauty of the power of thought rather than the content of thought. And I borrowed that from Elsie, so maybe I've diverged a little bit. But the truth, we get off track with judgment. You have for me, this is what happened. I had that beautiful insight where it was just pure energy and no time and no physical at all for I don't know how long, and it came about after being incredibly grateful and appreciative for what and for what I had seen at this conference. And just happened, this shift happened. And then the feeling, incredible feeling, lasted for about 5 weeks. And then I saw that you start expecting other people to be living at that same level. Well, why aren't your friends living at that same level? Or why aren't they living in that state more too? And of course, everybody's on their own journey and has their own timing. So I saw I kind of dissipated the feeling a little bit by getting a bit judgmental, or and you gradually, you sort of, at first you're guided by this incredible feeling. You're doing your work and driving your car and everything. It's almost like you're in automatic, and it's on auto, and everything is coming beautifully. Your work, nothing's. You're not in a different, an unaware state or anything. You're just in a zone. It just sort of, it's almost takes care of itself. And but then if you start then judging or having expectations, you can quite easily see how that brings you back into a personal thinking realm. What do you think?
I totally agree. When we get lost in the content, that's where we lose the plot. In a sense, and we all get caught up
from time to time. Yeah, more of the time, or less of the time. Hopefully, less of the time. And many people, I think, are we're all on the same journey, and we've all had little glimpses of the mind being free of personal thinking. I think, you might be looking at a beautiful view or feeling intense love for your pet or your wife or your husband or your someone, or compassion for people. So we all have these moments of deep feelings, and then we just go back to what we were used to, and we resume. But it's all a journey, and we're all looking for a deeper meaning.
And it's always there, because it's not something that we can lose, like we lose our keys.
Yeah.
We think we lost that, but it's just a temporary thing, because it's still there if it were not for our thoughts.
Yeah. We covered it up. We just covered it up for a little bit. And then you can't have two thoughts at once. I mean, you might say that if you're covering it up with a constant chatter in your head, analyzing or being overly intellectual, or thinking you have to prove yourself, or I see a lot of people even in the three principles, trying to grasp it intellectually, which I did, and I completely understand for 35 years. Yeah, you have this chatter of one kind or another, people who haven't come across the 3 Ps, maybe more in the realm of anxiety or fear or burnout, but you're covering it up with one type of personal thinking or another. And I wish that people would, know that there's nothing to prove. We don't have to prove ourselves to anybody, or even to ourselves, because you are it already. It's something that we have inside, that we come from, that we are. And it's the unifying factor. Yeah.
And I think people are hungry for that. If you look of what people are looking for, and there's more and more ways now, and I'll totally judgment call on myself, but on the olden days, people had to go 6 months in India trying to get it. But now we have all those teachers, in a sense, like Cindy Banks, and the videos he left behind. We have Sadhguru, Adi Ashanti, Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra. Now, all those teachers, all at the same time. Not that before they probably there were as many, but now with with technology, we can get in touch with that, in a sense. There's different ways of pointing to the sun in a sense that is more available that is ever been.
Yeah, the truth is all around. You know, everyone's trying to point to the truth, the essential truth. They just use more or less words, and you know, it's more. They have a more pure understanding or a less pure understanding, you know, and everyone's doing their best. I don't know how much real self-knowledge, you know, that how much of the sharing is from the touching of this intelligent energy within themselves, or in some cases, and how much is from gathering the philosophy of the ages, and you know, which is true to a certain level, but it's not. It can never be the same thing as touching that intelligent energy, that going to that Christ consciousness or Christ conscious state, or whatever you want to call it, you know, Buddha conscious state or whatever. So there are many teachings, but I think, you know, it's not for me to comment, but each religion, of course, has an essence of the truth in it, and the truth is in many places. But we're incredibly lucky. What those of us who were on the island early with Sid, and many of us since, of course, are recognizing is that this is perhaps one of the purest realizations of the nature of life, our spiritual, psychological life that's ever happened.
And the simplest.
Huh?
And the simplest.
Simplest. Yeah, simplest and purest. It's so simple. So there's so few words needed to really describe it. And the rest is just metaphors and just little stories about people hearing in different ways, you know, at different times, and living their lives in different ways, and the impact it's had on their lives. But the essence of it is just that we are more than we know. We are an intelligent energy. We're an intelligent energy experiencing a physical, spiritual reality that we don't, and nobody knows how it's come about into creation. It's something, even if you haven't touched the spiritual energy, it doesn't, and you see that it's pure consciousness and pure thought as well, because you wouldn't be even feeling it, you wouldn't be aware of it without pure consciousness and pure thought. So they were like one thing, this incredible, beautiful energy that you feel in this state of mind. I got carried away there. And I think the essence of it is to keep coming back to that, describing that. And then we let go, we're on this, for some reason, we're on this earth. We are in a form. Once you come out of this realization, you realize you're on a form. You have a choice of how you use your personal thinking. And you take, of course, guided by this feeling, you take care of your form, you take care of your personal thinking best you can, although there's no effort. It's just that you are guided, and you, of course, want to be guided. You put yourselves in the hands of that guidance, you know, to as far as your personal thinking goes. And we are born with that. You know, it's nothing that is, you know, we're born with that and we're just rediscovering it. And I'm just rambling along.
No, I totally agree with you. I think it's beautiful that we're totally guided and we forget,
Oh,
or
yeah.
sometimes we try to make we think we know better, and forget to listen to our inner GPS.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we have different challenges, and everyone has challenges, and relationship wise or physically or whatever, or you know, what we think is a work challenge or a COVID challenge, or you know, even a really bad challenges, you know, that we still have a choice of where we want to live in ourselves.
Peace
And
is always available.
yeah. A couple other thoughts that came to me when I was in that state. It was, you know, one being that I realized that we're incredibly guided, that we're so guided, way more than we know, that we don't have to care so much about the world because we are part of the world. You know, we're something deeper, a deeper creation, you know, creator of the world, or you know, we create our reality. We don't have to care so much. You're in a state where you're not caring in the best sense. We don't have to try so much, try so hard, and be so serious. And we have access to all these beautiful feelings if we really just realize it. You know, you in the blink of an eye, you can turn from being irritated with your wife, in my case, maybe, or with an old dog who's feeling irritable or whatever, and you can turn it into compassion and love, you know, and kindness. Within the blink of an eye, you can turn a thought around. And it's just beautiful.
That's a beautiful message of hope. That it's always available, always there, regardless of the situation.
Yeah, it is, Martine.
Thank you, Mark, for your wisdom.
Words of wisdom, oh yeah, such as they are.
And usually I ask people if they have a website or something like that, but I know that people can find you on the Heartfelt Presence, and I'll put the details below the video. So thank you once again, Mark.
Thank you, Martine. It's such a pleasure. You're so nice to be with. Take care.
Take care.